Maseches Bava Kama Daf Kuf Zayin Amud Beis in the top of the page, not the very top. I would not start that far. I would start from about 9 or 10 lines from the top of the page, Kuf Zayin Amud Beis. You have a line starting with the word Chinam, and then in the middle of the line there's V'omar Abchia Bar Yosef. Yeah? The Shiur Lo Nishmas Of Imor Menachem Ben Akiva Rus Bas Shalom Sol Bas Moshe Hola Bas Larry and Leilu Nishmas Kol Chalal Meron and the Rafu Ashmal Avram Ben Yehudis Bas Chan Sar Bas Nechama Estofum Bas Shoshan Malka Bas Tomo Yehudis Bas Rivka Besach Shachol Yisrael Vedvo Bas Rus Bas Shachol Yisrael. We need a lot of a revision here. These sugyas are all intertwined, one to do with the other. And if you remember the basic, maybe I should have it written down if I have time. You need like a basic glossary of the terms over here. So let's revise. Yeah, I think it would be useless to continue unless we revise. We're not continuing now in the Gemara. Put your finger in Amar B'chia Bar Yosef. But now you tell me, please, what's Toyen Tainas Ganav? What does Toyen Tainas Ganav mean? Somebody who claimed, "Ooh, Baruch haba, oh, Shalom Aleichem, he came just in time. Very nice. Shlomo is back. Okay, we are online. We can't. So, what does Toyen Tainas Ganav mean? Toyen Tainas Ganav is a person who is a shomer. He claimed what? It was stolen, and he swore l'sheker. Falsely, he made an oath, a false oath, Shuvat Sheker. What does he have to do now? He has to pay kefel, double. He's like a thief. Only if he lied and also he swore l'sheker. That's the Tainas Ganav. Let's now talk also about another term. Any shomer in the world that, and here I made a mistake yesterday, I have to correct myself. My chavrusa pointed out Rashi, I gave the wrong example, though I did remember it from somewhere. But I have to tell you what Rashi says, and that is what happens if a shomer is sholeach yad. Sholeach yad literally means like the shloch yad is like to extend your hand to where it does not belong. It can have all kinds of context, which I don't want to mention here. But lamaise sholeach yad means I said if he picks it up to be koine. I remember that from somewhere, but Rashi says he took the object to make him melacha. Yeah, let's say someone's computer has no code in it, and I gave you my computer. And he said, "Oh no, you of course you wouldn't do it. Yeah, I gave Pachachovsky my computer to look after, even Chinam Shomer Soch or anything. And at some point, he really needed a computer because his computer broke. Without asking me, he started using the computer without my permission. That's called Sholech Yad. Once he's Sholech Yad, he has a status of what? Of a gazlan. He's a gazlan. Once he's a gazlan, then his status changes from wearing the hat of Shomer Chinam. He's now wearing the hat of a gazlan. So." At the end of the day, he'll give back the computer. Who cares how you classify him? I care. Why? If he's a shomer chinam, and before he used the computer was a shomer chinam, and then we all know, unless he was negligent in pshia mamish, if something happened out of his control or not exactly within his control, gneva vaveda, his batul is exempt. Once he's considered a gazlan acquires the computer. Not that it's completely his. It's completely his lechiyuvim. Now, even if an oinus would happen, even if some thunder and lightning would hit the computer through all 6 floors of the building, sci-fi movie, some outer power snatched the computer into outer space, completely out of his control, he has to pay. Now he has to pay even the oinus gomu. Why? Because once he's a ganav, gazlan, once used it, he completely changed his status. He's a gazlan, and he has to now pay for everything in any situation. Why? As long as you didn't give back the Aveda, the Gzela, you're mechuyev in anything that would happen to it. Another piece of information from a few dapim ago, remember Rav Sheshes said, what happens if a person lied and said, I never got your computer, or some kind of other lie. Let's say he said he got lost. Even though he was not nishba, but the fact that you're lying and you're not being loyal to the owner anymore, that also renders you ganav. If you come and bluntly tell him, you never gave me a computer, or your computer got lost, not even stolen, any other cooked up story, which means that you are now lying and you're interested in keeping it for yourself and not for him, once you either changed loyalties and now you want to be the owner of the computer because you're telling us stories, even if you didn't touch it and you did not use the keyboard, still, lemaisa, you also ganav, the gazlan, doesn't matter now the definition, and now you're chayev on oinsin. Okay? However, don't get confused. In order to have kefel, in order to be called what I keep called verbal ganav, and actually like this definition, Baruch Hashem, because Rashi calls him a ganav, to pay double as if you were a real ganav coming in the night. No, for that you need very specific requirements. What is they? What are they? You have to lie, saying what your computer was stolen, and then you have to do a shvua. Now that shvua, answering your question, Baruch, from yesterday, I think you mentioned it, that shvua of kefel only has to be done in Beis Din with the initiative of Beis Din. Why? Because the Torah says so. When the Torah says, Ad Elohim Yobad Var Shneim, who is Elohim? It's not Hashem, it's the Dayanim. The Dayanim are involved and they make the shvua. You made the shvua. I hereby swear that what is stolen from me. Then you have to pay kefel. So far, that's just the general information, sort of like a glossary of terms of things that we're talking about in these sugyas. Okay, by the way, sometimes people get very nitpicking with my examples, and I have to be, when I go like this, it doesn't mean that that's a Jewish way of taking an oath. That's a Goyish way, as far as I know. In the Jewish way, says the Rambam, he opens the Sefer Torah, and in front of an open Sefer Torah, he makes the Shavua. And there are other ways too. In the Kitas Chayfetz, he has to take a holy item in his hands, like a tefillin, but you don't go like that. That's time. I use it in order to make it picturesque a little bit, but I don't, as far as I know, I never took a Shavua. I never swore to you I was in Cyprus in Soy Castle, right? I told you a story. So the Shvua, it doesn't mean like that. The Shvua is open in front of a Torah to give the person the pachad, the fear, the awe. What I'm saying now is in front of the Torah, or at least another holy item, possibly called Mekitas Chayfetz. On the Bible. The Bible, I think. Yeah. Started in Shiur. Doma B'chia Bar Yosef says the B'chia Bar Yosef. He's now making a shidduch between everything. A trustee is ganav bepikodoin, a person who, you know, trustee is ganav is by now, I'm sure, in a deposit, and he said, so and so stole it from me last night. He doesn't say so and so, by the way. He says it was stolen from my house last night. I have no idea where it is, and he lied, and he swore l'sheker. Open Sefer Torah. Ein chayev ad sheyishlach boyad. Wow, says Rav Bar Yosef. You only chayev if prior to that story you also used the chayfetz, you used the item against the will of the bailim. The only time you chayev trustee is ganav has to pay kefel, he has to tick 3 boxes. First of all, he, I would say, abused it, used it against the rotzon of the bailim, used it without the permission. That's called sholach yad. Secondly, when the bailim knocked on the door, where's my computer? He said, oh, stolen. Can you swear about it? He takes him to Beis Din. I swear in the name of God that he was stolen. Then he's chayev. Yeah, you need all three items, all 3 boxes to be ticked in order to chayev kefel. My time. What's the reason? Well, good question. But listen, the Torah said so. Look, it says in the Torah, Shanemar, V'nikra Baal Habais El Elohim. The Baal Habais has to get close to Elohim, which means the Dayanim, and make a Shavua. And what does he have to say in the Shavua? I hereby declare that I'm a good American and I love Washington. No, it's not what he says when he's nishba about that. He says, Im lo shalach yadu b'melech Israel. He has to make a Shavua. By the way, Mecharusa said a genius thing. The word im means that, not if here. He has to swear that he was not shalach yad b'melech Israel. In order to be exempt and not pay kefel, he has to swear that not only it was stolen, like he claims, also he has to swear that he never used it prior to the claimed theft. Michlal, that is to say, there's a double barrel shvur here. The sholach bayad mechayev. That is to say that if he really did do shlichus yad, if he used it against the Ba'al Mizul, used it without permission, then and only then he is chayav to pay kefel. Yeah, plus of course swearing that he was stolen. You need both in order to chayav kefel. It's not halacha l'maisa as far as I know, but this is what Rav Bar Yosef learns. That's how he learns the psukim. The psukim say sholach yad, not me. Now, Zok the Gemara, okay, lememra. So you're now coming to tell me b'sholach bo yad askinan. You're coming to tell me that this person, not this person, anyone who's turned on his ganav, really, prior to the false claim and swear that he was stolen, also sholach bayad. But let's say we cannot prove the sholach bayad. Let's say that he says, no, I don't even have to swear. I wasn't sholach yad. Or let's say he swore the lo sholach bayad and he happened to be right. There are no eidim who told us that he did use it. So then he doesn't have to pay kefel. He only has to pay kefel if eidim came and said, we saw everything. The CIA were, watching through the back door, through the keyhole. And what? The Jewish people, the CIA, two people. And they saw that he used the computer against the Bailam's wish, and that it was never stolen. At the moment when he was in Beis Din swearing with big tears it was stolen, it was really in his house, liar, then he has to pay kefel. Only then he has to pay kefel. Again, I'm not saying it's tzaddik otherwise. And by the way, of course, this person, you all know. Oh, let me ask you a question. Question now. This story, on Sunday night, his Yetzer Hara took the better of him, and he just used that new shiny silvery computer. Wow, the newest, Windows 3002 or whatever. And on Tuesday, he lied l'sheker. At what point is he already a thief, a ganav, without kefel, just a ganav? At what point? Sunday night or Tuesday? Beautiful. Sunday night, when you use the computer, is already a ganav. But in order to pay kefel, he has to advance more and also swear that it was stolen from him. Oh, that brings us to the next opinion, which argues on what we just said. Omar lu Rab Chiya bar Abba. Rab Chiya bar Abba said, Omar lei, Omar lahu. Rab Chiya bar Abba responds to what we just said to Rab Chiya bar Yosef. Don't get confused. That's Rab Chiya bar Yosef. The one arguing with him is Rab Chiya bar Abba. And he says, Hachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan. This is what Rabbi Yochanan says. Be'omedes al evusa shanu. We're talking here about a cow that stands on its trough. What does that mean? It means that we're talking here about a computer or a cow or a car, whatever, that were not used. He says, no, you chayev shvua if you lied. And on Tuesday, let's say it's Tuesday, on Tuesday, your nishbal sheker and Beis Din that it was stolen, you chayev if prior to that you did not touch it. And the cow was nicely, tranquilly eating the grass without the bailim touching it. Then you have to pay the kefel if you lied about the theft. Now, there are two ways to interpret the line I just said. And now that's what the Gemara is going to ask now. Let's just summarize until now. Opinion number one, Reb Chiya bar Yosef, he's very clear. Reb Chiya bar Yosef says, listen, I don't know much lomdus. That's what the Torah says. That's what it says in my Chumash. We're going to see other ways to explain later. The Chumash says something very simple. Kita Aleph. The Chumash says, if the owner, in the reverse of imloi, if he abused it, used it against the will, and he swore that it was stolen, then he pays double. 2 + 2 = 4. 1 + 1 = 2. Very nice. Comes another opinion that says something strange. Comes the arguing opinion, the opposing opinion, and says no. If the animal was not touched, was not used against the will, then, and you swore l'sheker, then you have to pay double. Now, we're not sure what he means when he says that. And the Gemara is now about to ask, and we're going to preface the question of the Gemara, did he mean only if or even if? Let me explain it now in the Gemara. Rab Zer is asking Rab Chiya bar Abba, what did you mean in that statement? Do you mean to say that only if the animal was never sholach bayad, the animal was never used against the permission of the bailim, then and only then, if he swore l'sheker, he has to pay double? Let's stop right now. No, aval sholach bayad. But if, let's on Sunday night, he used it against his will, kano, then already then he's the gazlan. Ushvu lemahani beklum. There's no point of nishba on an item that he already acquired illegally as a ganav. Get that? I'll say it again. If on Sunday night we say that the person started touching the computer and in his mind it's my computer or it's mine to use, I have the liberty to do whatever I want with it, he's now koine kinyan gneva. I told you many times that begadol, there are two ways how to become a good ganav in halacha. one of two alternatives. It can be a blue collar ganav or a white collar ganav. The blue collar ganav is the one from what? Is the one who goes in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock at night, and what? And he actually does meshicha, hagbah, physical kinyanim, out of the house of this fancy guy in Yale, out of his house, out of his house, Mishicha Gbo, that's one way. There's another way to become a ganav, and that what? White collar. Somebody gave me a computer or cow or whatever that is, or socks or shoes, and I said, put it in my trustworthy hand. Look, I have a white beard, you can trust me. And then in the middle of the night, I used the computer against his will. I'm exactly the same ganav, and I'm a koine. I acquired it, of course I have to pay. I'm even more chayiv. But mitzad a requirement of gneva, I was koine kinyan gneva by already not being loyal to the bailim. The computer is now not in the embassy of the bailim. I took over the embassy, like in a coup d'etat. I'm now the owner of that computer in my mind. And it's true, I'm not a legal owner, but I'm koine kinyan gzela. Mimela says the Gemara something brilliant, absolutely brilliant. There's a tzad to say that no, if you're sholech yad on Sunday night, then you already are the owner. What are you nishba about? You're nishba on a chefetz which you already stole. The whole vort is that when I'm nishba, I become a verbal ganav. But I was already ganav on Sunday. You can't steal the same thing twice. Of course. Don't give me faces. 1 second. If on Tuesday came, I hereby swear that what in the name of Hashem, Avaya Tzvakos, the word that so-and-so stole it from me, and I have no idea. He did not steal it at that point because he stole it already on Sunday. The whole part of paying kefel on Tuesday is because now you're verbally stealing it. It's already stolen. You can't steal twice. You can't kill the same person twice. You can't steal twice. You already nished on your own thing. That's one way of understanding the second opinion. No questions now for the next 2-3.5 minutes. Or maybe, no. Or maybe what Rav Sheshes meant was a filo embezzled, or maybe you can say even, which means no. If you used it on Sunday and then again on Tuesday he made a shvuas sheker that he was stolen, against logic, he still have kefel. And afilu, even if he did not touch it, whether or not, even if he didn't touch it at all, he still chayav kefel. In other words, the other school of thought says, listen, the Torah said you chayav kefel not only if you sholach bayad and not only if you haven't. The Torah tells you even if you sholach bayad, it does make a difference. Either or, yes sholach yad, no sholach yad. Once you swore l'sheker that this is something that was stolen, you chayav kefel, regardless of what happened before. These are the two tzdadim within the second opinion, which is Rav Sheshes b'shem Rabbi Yochanan. If there's a very specific, quick question, I would hear it, but not to go, because we're in the middle of the jungle here. Okay, I like the question already, seriously. Right. Amalei, so he answered him regarding the question we just described. Zu loy shamati. Regarding this very, very specific question, I did not hear an answer. Kayoytze bo shamati. But I heard a similar case with a similar answer, and we can possibly compare one to the other. What's a similar case? Listen to this one. This is a cool guy. A trustee ovad v'nishba. A person was trustee ovad. A person claimed it was lost, not stolen. He was lost. I'm sorry, he was lost. And then the chozar, the trustee ganav. Okay, v'nishba. First of all, he told us he was lost and he swore. Then later on, he comes and he says that what? That it was stolen, and then he was nishba. He changed his version, and every time he swears that what he's saying is right. Okay. By the way, it's not so sure that he's a complete liar. Of course, he's a liar, but he could claim that between the first shvua and the second shvua, that's when it really happened. Whatever. This guy, no shidduch from my daughter, that's for sure. But let's just follow the story. He swore with tears in his eyes in front of the Torah that was lost. And what? And he swore about it. Nothing was yet discovered. The story did not explode. Oh, we believe you. Ellen Rubinstein, we believe. Yeah. But then Tanta's ganav v'nishba. Later on, he changed the version. You know, the lawyer whispered in his ear, you know, and then what? He said it was stolen and it was nishba. Ubo Adim. Then Adim came and the whole story exploded. The guy was a liar right from the start. Specifically, the second taina of ganav, the Adim said, what? On Tuesday he came and he swore that it was stolen from his house. On Tuesday, the item was in his house. Potur. What is he potur from? Kefel. Of course, he has to pay. Chai B'Einsin is potur from kefel. Although the second shvua, on Sunday, he swore the shvua, the what? The sheker, that was lost. Tuesday, that it was stolen. Adim came and said, what Tuesday? On Tuesday, we saw it in your house. That same very Dell computer. is potter from paying the extra kefel. My time. Why is it potter? Lav mishum de kona b'shvua rishono. Ah, because on Sunday when he said that the item was lost from him and he swore, what happened then? He's also a verbal thief, and at that point already stole it. Once he declared, says Rav Sheshes a few dapim ago, if a person outright bluntly lies, or retroactively we know that he lied at the moment of lie, even about a Veda, nothing to do with kefel. He's already a gazlan. He's wearing the gazlan hat. So now on Tuesday, when he comes and says, "Oh, I swear that he was nignav," is empty talk because he's stealing again a stolen already, an item already stolen, like one of the tzedodim we had. So that's why it's potter from kefel. Omar Lei, loy, he says, not necessarily. You cannot exactly prove our case from that case. Meaning, let's just compare. What do we want to compare? No, before we continue, let me get more precise. And the same thing would be what? We want to say, if you use the computer, Sunday night, you use the computer and you thought nobody knows, right? What did you become then? Against his will. What are you? Gazlan, ganav. Then also, if on Tuesday you come to Beis Din all pompous and nishba that he was nignav, you're potter because it's already stolen. We want to compare the man who swears that he was ne'evad, lost, to the one who uses the computer. These are two forms of verbal gneva or actual gneva. So the same thing would be that you're not chayiv anymore on the trustee ganav. Omerli lo. Comes the one who responds to him and says, not necessarily so. Could be that the reason why a person who's nishba on Sunday about ne'evad and on Tuesday about nignav, could be that the reason why his potter is simply because Beis Din, this is not simple people over here. The whole mahalach here, this is something you have to know, as opposed to what we had a few dapim ago, when it comes to kefel, it has to be a court case, and the dayonim, the judges, they're the ones who tell him to be nishba. Which normal dayan in the world would tell a person who, as I told you, on Sunday, he was believed to say what? Not to say, he swore, he was nishba, that it was lost, case closed, unless we reopen it with Edim. Case closed. Nobody on Tuesday would come again to Beis Din, and Beis Din would say, okay, swear again. Are we children in the gun? Are we a nagging shviger? What's going on over here? Avada Beis Din wouldn't force twice to do the same thing. Is yoytze the shvua. That's why the second shvua is not called shvua dayonim. Even if Beis Din did do it because they want to play police and they want to dafka force him again, it's not called shvua dayonim. Shvua dayonim has to be halachic shvua that is by the book of law, that the dayonim can make him swear. You can't make him swear twice once you believe the first one. That's why it's potter in the second one, because it's not a real valid halachic shvua. However, in the case when in the middle of the night he came and used the computer with nobody seeing, that's nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with shvua. It's only to do with the fact he's a gazlan. If he's a gazlan not with shvua, maybe then the shvua on Tuesday of the gneva is still a valid shvua and he has to pay kefel. Possibly. You can't compare one to the other. That's shvua and that's shlichus yad. They're not the same. Itmar Nami, 1 second. Itmar Nami, I am continuing and then I'll hear your question because this is just a very clear hemshech. Itmar Nami comes another statement to support what we just said. Amar bi Abin, Amar bi Lo, Amar bi Yochanan. By the way, all the time we quote from Yochanan. Trustee avedo bepikodon. A person who said he was stolen by me. Bepikodon. Venishpa. I swear it was not stolen. I swear it was lost from me. The chazal v'toan as gneva v'nishba. Tuesday, 2 days later, comes to Beis Din with a new story, and what? And he says, Beis Din tell him swear, and now he swore he was nignav. What is he going to say tomorrow? That UFO took it. Ubo edim potu. If the edim came and said that he lied on Tuesday about the gneva, is potu from paying kefel. Why potu from kefel? Ganav. Since it's yoytze de choiva, can you make the same bracha twice on the cup of tea? No, make only bracha once. Shvua is not a repetitive thing. Shvua is not like whenever you feel like, maybe you could and I could, but Beis Din, we have to go by the book, by the protocol of Beis Din. There can't be mashbiah twice, because as I told Ellen a few minutes ago in the break, I told you, and I'm right, that one swore, as long as I know Edim or other issues, he's believed. So if Sunday he left court being believed that it was lost, Beis Din have no right to make him nishba again on Tuesday, and then therefore whatever he said is invalid. Because what he said is not Shavuos Dayanim. Mimeli doesn't have to pay kefel because the second Shavua is the redundant extra Shavua that nobody's asking you to do, or even if they do, they're wrong. And Mimela, you don't have to pay kefel. And I want to hear you, Baruch, and then we'll continue. Yes? Question. The question made it to the real screen time, to the prime time with 10 million views. And that is, it's true that Beis Din did make him swear on Tuesday. But Beis Din have the right to do that, but it does not have the validity of a Shavuos Dayanim. In other words, it's not a real Shavuos Beis Din. Lahavdil, a very bad example that runs to my mind. Let's say it's a very, very, very bad example, which I don't like, but that's what I have in my mind right now. Sometimes policemen ask you to do things which they're allowed to ask you to do by the law, like to cross the street and not cross, or go here and go there. And sometimes policemen use their authority to tell you to do things which you're not supposed to, and they're not supposed to tell you. Very bad example, because the Yonim are not like the policemen, but that's the same idea. It's true that the Yonim told him to do that, and I don't think they're doing an avera by doing that. They want to play safe. But Lamaisa, that Shavua being a Shavua that's on the heels of another Shavua, ain't Bishul Achar Bishul, ain't Shavua Achar Shavua. So that second Shavua just doesn't have the validity of Shavuos Beis Din. Yeah, maybe Beis Din are allowed to do that as means of pressure. Okay, fine. They're not like the bad policemen. But Lamaisa, it doesn't have the din of Shavuos Dayanim. That's okay. Weiter. Let's continue. Omar Rav Sheshes. Omar Rav Sheshes. Very good. Now Rav Sheshes is just the other opinion. Just complete the other way. I turn Tanis ganav b'pikodoin, kevin shesholoch b'yad, potu, mazel tov, ze aloche. That's the aloche. A person who turned Tanis ganav b'pikodoin. Yeah, what did he say? Stolen. Did he swear? Yes. Was he a liar? Yes. But if we find out Baruch, 2 days later came Eidim, and they say that it's Sunday, way before Tuesday, he was Sholech Yad, he used the cow, he used the computer, he used the whatever, then he's potter from paying kefel. But we know the reason. Why? Because on Sunday, he was already a ganav. So he didn't steal it on Tuesday. It was already stolen on Sunday night. We only found out later. So what? Only now I found out that America was discovered. Doesn't mean discovered today. My time. Now, what's the reason? What's the reason? Which means my time. Where do you see it in the words of the Torah? The same pasuk which we read before one way, he's reading the other way. That's what the Torah says. V'nikov Baal Bais Elohim. The Baal Bais and the Shomer have to get close to the Dayanim to take Shvuah. Im lo shalach yadoi, which means the only time he has to take Shvuah is if he did not do shlichus yad. A shalach yadoi patu from Shvuah, not from payment. If he was shalach yad, or let's say Baruch, we found out before that he was shalach yad. Let's say Eidim came and said he was shalach yad Sunday night. And now comes a new claim about theft. And then he says, yeah, whatever, but now it was stolen on Monday. No. If we know that he was Sholech Yad on Sunday, we're not going to be Mashbiah him on Shvuah of Gneva on Monday. And even if we did, he's not Chayav Kefel because of the reasons we explained. So that's the maskana. A person, now you can have another item for your glossary, another entry. A Toin Tanis ganav is only Chayav Kefel, providing there was no previous criminal record about this particular item. If he did not steal it by using it before. Oh, very nice. Amar Rav Nachman, Frek Rav Nachman a question. I'm asking now a question from a Brisa or a Mishnah in Masibov Mitzia. Shalosh Vos Mashbi Noisei. Every shomer, now we're picking on shomer chinam. Every shomer chinam that claims it was stolen from me, and therefore I'm potter, it's not enough to take one shvuah. He has to take a series of 3 shvuahs. Very interesting. The theme of 3 shvuahs I already saw 3 places. Here we're going to see 3 shvuahs. In Ksubas at the end, your Sat Mechosid, they can see. They're very into quoting that. The 3 shvuahs Hashem was mashbiha. Yeah, the Bnei Israel shouldn't make aliyah, whatever. Shouldn't build the choyma, shouldn't the galis aketz. And the 3 shvuahs d'oraisa. The only 3 shvuahs in the Torah that a person has to take, right? Shema Yisrael, Shoimrim, Moide b'miktzas, and Eid Echad. Okay, here come another set of 3 shvuahs, all directed at one guy. Who? The Shemachinam, who said he was stolen from my house. Stolen. Oh, stolen. Will you take a shvuah? Say the 3 dayanim with stern faces. That shvuah has to be a 3-facet, 3-layer shvuah. Listen to this. Shvuah shaloi pashati bo. which means the ganav, he says it was stolen from my house. Hey, wait a second. What kind of theft was it? Was it a theft that you couldn't control? Or you're drinking your coffee, looking at your forever smartphone while the ganav came and you're negligent? If he was stolen when you were negligent, he was sitting with a cow in the grazing area in the meadow and kmitzvahs, looking at his smartphone all the time, and the ganav came. You're not potter on that kind of gneva, honey. That's called pshia. That's called negligence. So you have to swear you're not poshea when the gneva took place, according to your claim. Secondly, you also have to swear what? That prior to the gneva, let's say the gneva was on Monday, you claim, swear to us the entire time between the beginning of the period of Shmira till the claimed gneva, you never used it against the will of the Baal. Because if you did, then what is he? And therefore he's chayiv on oinsin. He's chayiv on everything. So even if you write that on Monday, yesterday, it was stolen and you couldn't do anything about it, it doesn't make a difference. If you're a gazlan because you're sholech yad before, then I don't care about anything that happened. Even if UFOs came and took you to their spaceship, you're still chayiv. So therefore, you have to be nishba that too. Thirdly, and most simply, shvuah sheni b'shusi. Be nishba that he really was stolen and it's not hiding somewhere in your backyard. These are the three shvuahs which you have to take. Okay, all very nice and sensible. Now we want to prove our point ki'ilu against Rav Sheshes, and we say like this: my love, what it must be what? Shvuah shelo shalachti bayad, a shvuah of I never abused it. Dumya is similar. The shvuah she'ena b'shusi is similar to a shvuah which is nishba that it was stolen, not b'shusoi, which means ma shvuah she'ena b'shusi, just like the shvuah that says it's not in my domain, it's not in my house because it was stolen. Once the story blows up, on Thursday, two Eidim come to Beis Din and they say, liar, liar, pants in the fire. And on Tuesday, it was in your possession, in your domain. When you claim it was stolen, of course, it's chayav to pay kefel. So too, the shvuah juxtaposed to that I never used it. Once the Eidim come and they confront him in that detail, and it said, Mister, we don't know about theft, but Sunday night we were in your house, you didn't see us. Ha ha ha. We looked behind you and we saw it using your computer very nicely against his will. Also chayev what? To pay kefel. Oh, that's against Rav Sheshes. Rav Sheshes said the what? If prior to the gneva, a claimed gneva, there was a pshia, then you're potter on kefel. And here it sounds like everything is juxtaposed together. We always chayev. Each and every one of those shvuahs, if you're caught with your bluff, you'd be chayev kefel. That's against Rav Sheshes. The answer is very simple. He says, no, when you compare one to the other, you can always compare one. You can compare A to B, or you can compare B to A. The other way, just the other way. No, I compare shvuah of shlichut to the other shvuah, the shvuah that I was never poshea, which means what's the third shvuah? I was never poshea, right? Which means what? At the time of theft, I claim on Monday, the car was stolen. There's nothing you can do about it. And you are a liar because you're poshea. There are two other shepherds in the field. They saw you shakua in Facebook. So shakua be'iyun. And therefore, you couldn't take your eyes off Instagram. Oy, oy, oy. And therefore what? Well, the car was stolen. And that's shia. And if that happens, it's potter mekefel. Why is it potter mekefel? Why is it potter mekefel? Because once he's poshea, then what? Is he a what? He's a gazlan. Yeah, he's not a ganav. He's not a ganav, right? Not a ganav. 1 minute. A trustee ganav is one that lied. The item is in his house, and he's lying completely, telling a complete lie. Instead of admitting it's in my house and I want to use it next week, he's telling us a tall tale about a ganav. That's not the story here. If the one of the three shvuahs which was caught lying is you're a poshea, that is not a trustee ganav. He's just a regular shomer chinam, which we learned about in Kita Bet. He's a shomer chinam that was poshea. He's not a verbal gneva. He was just a negligent shomer chinam. A negligent shomer chinam is no kefel, mapitam. Regular keren. He has to pay the basics. So too, that's what you should compare it to. Don't compare A to B. Compare A to C. So too, shvua, which lo shalachti b'yad, ki megali amil said the shalach b'yad. If Adim come and say, we saw you touching, extending your hands the wrong place. You got sticky fingers. And Sunday night you did touch the computer and used it, then Potter Mekefel also. Just like Rav Sheshes said, let's summarize. Summertime, summary time. Again, Rav Sheshes stays clear, straight, and halacha l'maisa. If a person on any night, Sunday night, it's a goy shashpo, is at the end of the weekend, the end of a long weekend, Shabbos and Sunday night, after being too much in the weekend mode, he decides, it's been too much. I've been too much of a good boy. I need that shiny, nice computer that's deposited by me, and I think I have every right in the world to use it. And he used it against the will of the Bailim. At that moment, what does he become? What's his status now? What does he now become? The chief rabbi? Gazlan. Yofi. Therefore, says Rav Sheshes, also backed by Psukim, that if on Tuesday there's a court case, and then the Bailim says, I say this was, where's my pikadon? Where is it? Give it back to me. He's already attached to the computer. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday morning, he's using the computer. He can't get away with it. He's addicted to the computer. He wants to be his best friend. No way he's giving back the computer. So he's cooking up a story. He's cooking up a lie that was stolen yesterday. They were stolen on Monday. Okay, let's go to Beis Din. Will he say to Beis Din? Yes. And Beis Din forced him to make shvuah, the first shvuah, not second shvuah, first time shvuah. And he swears in front of an open Sefer Torah, Rachmana litzlan, that Monday, yesterday was stolen, and then, we go home. Wednesday, Adim come, and Adim say, what do the Adim say? The Adim say two things. The Adim say, Sunday night, we followed him all the way. He doesn't know. We are hired by people to follow him all the time. We're making a documentary TV show about him, And Sunday night, we saw him using the computer, and Monday and Tuesday, we saw the computer in his house. So now he's caught lying that he was not Posher, he was Mamish Gazlan on Sunday. And on Tuesday, when he lied, Sheker, that was stolen. Does he or doesn't he have to pay kefel, Lemaskon, according to Sheshes? Does he or doesn't he have to pay kefel? No, Yosef is right. Yosef. Why? Because the only time you have to pay kefel on your verbal sheker of ganav is when now you stole it. But if you already stole it on Sunday, your theft on Tuesday, you stole an item already stolen. You can't steal the same thing twice. Like you can't kill the same person twice unless it's Gilgulim, and therefore you are potur. Also, backed by the Torah's words, they say, Im lo sholach yodim v'melech Yisrael. Beautiful. Weiter. Oh, I don't believe it. We can continue next Amud. Wow. Boy Rami Bar Chama. Now Rami Bar Chama asks a question. Let's now get reminded. I'll give you a reminder about another sugya. That sugya is a sugya of kefel versus choimish, which means, when does a person have to pay kefel besides the ganav? Well, you all know. When does a person pay kefel? It's a person who declared stolen. Then the Adim came and said, no, you are lying to Beis Din's face. Nishmal Shek, you have to pay kefel. Right? What happens if the person, Adim, did not come? The person himself admitted and he cried with big tears. No Adim came, Ellen. No Adim came. So how did the story blow up at the end? How did it all explode? He admitted on Wednesday or Thursday, the same computer that he stole, he saw a beautiful shiur from Hidabrut, from Esha Torah, from your shiur, a Tordic site about the severity of lying and sheker and theft. He decides to be Baal Tshuva, goes back to Beis Din like a man, and he comes clean and he admits that he lied in Nishbal Sheker. Does he pay kefel? No. What does he have to pay? What? And also, once he admitted himself, so he's Shvuah Sheker, he has to pay choimish, which is really a quarter. I have to admit, it's not a choimish, and an osham to Beis Hamikdash. Now, sometimes we said before, what happens if both things happen? Let's say the Adim came on Wednesday and the story blew up because Adim said that he lied. He has to pay kefel. And what happens if later, then he admitted also? After the Adim came, he admitted. It's not a joke. Remember, we said it on Thursday when your son was here. His admittance is still something between him and Hashem. So he has to bring Osham. But according to some opinions, which we saw Daf Samech Hey, he does not bring chomesh. Why? The Torah says about chomesh and kefel are like fire and water. They cannot coexist. I know that's not what we said a few days ago. There was a different opinion. Now we clearly follow the opinion that that's going to be the story from now till the middle of the next Amud. The two can never coexist. A dog and cat. Dogs and cats sometimes, usually they don't like each other. They can't coexist. Kefel and chomesh cannot be paid by the same person on the same thing. Either you pay kefel because of the edim, then you don't pay chomesh, or you pay chomesh and you don't pay kefel. One of the two. You can't have the two together, according to the opinion which we follow now. On top of that, we're asking a question. We want to define it very clearly and very lomdously. 3 lines from the bottom of the page, Kuf Zayin Amud Beis. What is it exactly? Which platform is it that kefel and chomesh cannot exist together? Is it the momon, the money? Let's say there's one cow, one computer, one cheese, one car, which we argue about, yeah? And I could have paid both. Why? The agent came, oh, you have to pay kefel. And then I admitted, oh, you have to pay chomesh. We say no. If you pay kefel, you don't pay chomesh. Is it because it's the item, the money? It's the same cow, the same computer. You can't pay on the same computer double and also an extra quarter. Is it that the point? Or Dilma, or maybe Shvua. Or maybe it's the Shvua, the same Shvua on Tuesday, which was negated twice, right? The Shvua on Tuesday, on Wednesday, the agent said, a liar, Gomer Shakran. And then on Thursday, he admitted, yes, I lied. So Lamaisa, the same Shvua that he did, Potatu min chomesh, because Mechav to Kefel, Potatu min chomesh. Very interesting question. What is the core of the matter here? What is it exactly that does not allow coexistence of Kefel and chomesh? Is it the money that he swore about, or is it the actual oath, the actual shvua? You guys may ask, who cares? What's an afkamina? Hechidami, Frag the Gemara, in very coarse English, who cares? In other words, when would be an afkamina? Listen to a fantastic story. Now I got to hear. That's some story. It's not a real story, but it's a story that could happen. And that story would exemplify, would show us how there's a difference between the money and the shvua. Let's read the unbelievable story. Keep going. Listen to this. Shetointan is ganav v'nishba. Listen carefully to this. It's not complicated. It's just one of those chronological stories, one after the other. Let's do the days of the week, okay? Tointan is ganav v'nishba. On Sunday, he came to court, all sure of himself. And what did he say? The item was stolen from my house, and I hereby swear, b'shem Hashem Elokim, Amen, Amen. And what does he say? It was nishba, it was stolen, okay? And then the chaz of Tointan is Ovad. On Monday, he has a new story to tell. On Monday, he tells that it was lost, Benishba, and he swears with the same pomp and the same sincerity, that it was lost from him. That's his Monday version. You know, meanwhile, he got some text from the lawyer. And then listen to what happened. How did the story blow up? Ubo Edim a Kamaisa. Edim came on what? On the first story. On Tuesday, Edim came to Beis Din, and they said, I'm sorry, when you swore that what? Right on Sunday, you swore that it was stolen, we were in your house. And at the very moment, Sunday, 10 o'clock, you're in Beis Din swearing, we're in contact with the people in Beis Din. At that very moment, we saw the cow in your house. So then, he'd be chayv kefel, right? He's a Tointan is ganav. Wait a second. Remember that on Monday, he claimed it was lost. The hoida abasraisa. Then on Wednesday, he came and he cried and he said, "Oi, the Monday shvua that he was lost. Oh, I really lied to you when I swore." Let's repeat. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sunday, he said and he swore, stolen. Monday, no, actually it was lost. Okay, every time is nishba. How Beis Din took care of that, that's a different story, how that child. Let's leave that aside. Tuesday, Adim came and took us back to Sunday. What? On Sunday? He was in your house when he said he was stolen. Classical, Tointan is ganav. pay double. And then on Wednesday, he admitted that the Monday shvua that he was lost is a lie. So you realize what's going on here? You have one item of money. It's one cow. It's the same Bessie all the way through from Sunday to Wednesday. But the shvuas are two different shvuas. Yes. Shvuas Geneva and shvua of Aveda. And each one was blown up differently. One is by Edim, which you should make your kefel. Excuse me, you guys tell me, please. If we only look at the Monday shvua, it was lost. I promise you, I swear to you. And on Wednesday, he admitted he lied. What should you do now? Hey, what? Oh, so we have two things floating in the air. Now it's Thursday, and the only break their head what to do. Is he chayav kefel or chomesh? Kefel should be chayav on the Sunday. No question. Kefel is chayav on the Sunday shvua, and chomesh on the Monday shvua. So listen, guys, there are two shvuas separately, completely, two different shvuas, complete, ganav and aveda, on the same item. Voila. So we have a case here with one item of money. It's exactly the same base of the cow. Didn't change an iota, but it's two different shvuas. Now let the Gemara sing the beautiful song of the Torah. Mai, what do we say? Is it the money, the cow, which on Monday he was already have to pay kefel because it was called, Tuesday, it was called a bluff on the shvuas of Geneva. He has to pay kefel. Therefore, his own admittance is not valid because it's the same cow. You pay kefel. You can't pay on the same cow an extra quarter. That's one way. And he's already chayav kefel on Tuesday when the Edim came that he lied about Geneva turned on his ganav. Or Dilma, or maybe shvua to kefel potato min chomesh. Or maybe not. Maybe the same shvua which makes you pay kefel patters you exempt from chomesh. In this case, you have two shvuas. And they can each one act differently. The second shvua, the second shvua Edim did not come about. The Monday shvua that he was lost, no Edim came. There's no kefel. Maybe now should be chayv chomesh. That's a question. We're not saying the answer now, but that's a question. Yes, Baruch. And then we're going to learn 2 minutes of Musar for shvuas, if you don't mind. I will ask you to please stay here for a few beautiful 3 lines of divine Musar for Shavuos and questions. But if you can be a little bit quick, because we're a little bit out of time. Yeah. I am adding something which we have to add. You can't have 2 Shavuos in Beis Din. True. That's regarding kefel. Kefel is something enforced by Beis Din. Chomesh v'Hasham is not enforced by Beis Din. It's your own personal journey of kapara with Hashem. So that shvua of chomesh v'Hasham can also be chayav by your own shvua without Beis Din forcing you. That's what I mean. Good? You happy? No? Yes?
I'm just going to say that